how you going? Let's see. Yeah, look at that. Let me see. I seen you a ring right there, man. Just got a bracelet and a ring right here. Look at this guy right here cashing out. Let me see your robe right here, man. Look at that. Ooh, boy, everybody shining. What you guys picked up? I love you guys. Living the life. Look at that. That's how.
Abe, would you rather kiss me or kiss the prettiest girl in the world for $1 million?
$1 million to kiss the prettiest girl in the world?
Yes.
Do I get $1 million if I kiss you?
Yeah, you only get $1 million if you kiss the prettiest girl in the world.
Well, obviously I'd pick the prettiest girl in the world and get $1 million. We'd be rich.
Yes, we would. But did you think to say, I'm the prettiest girl in the world?
You're not. You're not. And that's okay. You're a solid 6. A high 6.
The Los Angeles Coliseum, a place Traveler calls home, and the crowd loves to fight on when supporting the USC Trojans. There's just something about the nightcap. After a day of wall-to-wall football, it just seems this is when chaos ensues. As we'll see a squad from the Mountain West, the Utah State Aggies, taking on the 22nd ranked team in the land, the USC Trojans. 48 Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. And guys, let's get this thing started. You can barely hear yourself thinking here as they're trying to get this defense off to a good start. Almost intercepted. It'll fall incomplete. The defense almost came up with a turnover. After the misfire now on 2nd down. He's looking to throw. Gets it out fast. They get him down after he makes the catch.
We knew coming into this game, this offense was going to try and get this receiver involved and get him involved early. So here they are just finding an easy completion. It's Not a touchdown, but they just want to get this guy lathered up and get him into a run.
And that's incomplete. A defender all over him. Knocked the ball to the ground. 4th down coming up.
Got to give the...
On 1st down, here comes this offense. They'll crank up this drive with the pass. Fires a bullet. Now it's picked off. Didn't let him get loose on the return, but he'll take it as they have the ball at the 47.
What a nice catch by the defense.
Utah State sending its offense back onto the field. Well, let's see if this drive goes better than the last one. They were in and out quickly after the quick pick, David.
Yeah, first play, big mistake, man. Now, let's get this offense in a little bit of a rhythm. Maybe.
This is where you make the money on the drive. Ball at the 30, it's 3rd and short. Looking for a gap, it's Jackson. And they'll get it to the 39-yard line, and they'll move the chains.
And they just kind of sneaked that one in there as a defensive...
That's
Damn,
not the
girl,
way
you don't
you'd
wanna
like to
come
start
home?
this set of downs. It's now 1st and
I
20.
said you don't want to come home?
Use the play fake. Now to throw. Fires to the tight end.
Oh,
And he's knocked down.
okay.
And that's why they got to keep running the football, man. Because
I
play
just
action's
checking
gonna
on
be a
you
big
because
part
it's
of this
12
game
o'clock
plan.
now.
You got to...
Decibels rising as the crowd gets behind this defense on 3rd down. They'll try to bully their way for the first. Brought down to the ground, but he has enough for the 1st down.
Yeah, a nice job dialing up that short yardage situation play call there, David. They needed 1 yard, and they picked up 2.
Yeah, great job up front. Great job by the back knowing where they need to go. Nice having a code you can get through and not have to just do it all on your own.
Nice quick throw there. And it's so important for quarterbacks to be able to find...
Looking to pick up a 1st down on 3rd and short from the 43. They'll try to get it through the air. He's right on target. Good job running that route to get past the sticks because he got nothing after the... They've got the big fellas out there. A 3 tight end look on 1st and 10. Give to the running back. They get him at the 42, but he picked up 10 there. It's 1st and 10 for this offense from the 42. He's going to pass. Makes the grab. It's Davis. And he's able to shed 1 tackle and pick up pretty good yardage. Offense gets set for 2nd down. From the gun, they'll try to impose their running game. Tackled after picking up the 1st down.
You know, they pride themselves on being physical at the point of attack.
They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10.
No. What? Hello? Yes.
Oh. I could barely hear you.
Oh,
I think they put the lights in the street because it lights up the whole street.
it's possible. I think that's what they were doing earlier.
It looks nice. Like,
Off the bootleg, looking to fire.
the street. It's a little dark.
It
Well, that's
looked
what's
like
up.
it had, but they'll say he was out of bounds.
And how nice is it to have the home crowd going...
Mama almost home, baby. She looking at the window for you to pull up. I said she looking out the window for you to pull up.
Plenty of time for one more snap before the end of the quarter. He wants to throw. Unloads to the wideout. It's caught. Good, solid pickup on that one. They got it out to the 40.
Hold on, baby. She almost here.
The quarter comes to a close. Utah State has the lead. We
She
put one
coming,
in the books.
baby.
Let's have a look at our game summary. They are lined up and ready to go.
Make sure you honk the
Starting
horn
here
when
in
you're
the second.
outside.
And now a fresh set of downs for this offense. Looking to go up top on first down. And he was hit just as he was releasing the
looking out
pass,
the
and it
window.
falls to the ground incomplete.
Well,
She
this
coming,
defense felt
baby.
coming into the game that if he was going to try to throw from the pocket, they could get to him
The
and
one with the
affect his
curtain on it.
accuracy, and they did on that last play.
She can reach to see.
No, she's sitting on the floor looking
They'll
at the
throw
window.
again after the incompletion. Quickly to the tight end. You know, David, this is really what game managing is. Nice pickup on second down to help them on the next play.
Yeah, I think people look at that negative sometimes, finding a
One more
quarterback that's a
stop sign,
game
baby.
manager. No, use your brain. Set up good situations.
Fires and picked off. And he's brought down, and this defense gets the ball back to its own.
This is obviously not a great start for this quarterback here. 2 interceptions already in this game. He's got to do a much better job with his decision.
Guys, the Utah State offense about to give it another go. After throwing the pick on the last drive, need to take care of the ball this time, Jesse.
We're going to find out a lot about this quarterback right here, too. How does he fight through adversity after that last drive?
Yeah, clear the mechanism, move on. That's a
She at the stop sign, Reno.
player. You gotta learn how to handle these mistakes and move on.
Look, she coming. Look.
Looks as if they didn't get it off in time. It'll be a delay of game.
Oh, she at the door waiting for you now.
Offense took a little bit too much time at the line there. This offense has a second down play. He's looking to throw. Using the quick game. They make the stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks.
I think this receiver's for...
The roar of the crowd trying to fuel this defense to keep them pinned in their own end. He'll come out throwing on first down. Takes it on the shovel. They make the stop right there. Good pickup, but still short of the first down.
Yeah, and you see running backs in today.
Baby,
10 from their own 17.
don't get mad at me. And then I realized how I was eating it, so I had to stop eating it. It's right here. Because I had to save you some. Look at it. You didn't like it? Good, because I almost ate the inside of the pie, baby.
He's looking to throw it. And it's picked off again. His night vision hasn't been on par. And they'll close in on him after a good return on the interception.
Tell you what, when you come out of your own end zone, you know, in the shadow of your own end zone, a lot of bad things can happen. You want to get a few first
Mignano?
downs, get some space, so if you punt after that point, you can pin them a little bit deep. This is the exact opposite of what happened. Now you set them
Okay,
up.
so I'm taking your
Half
moment
of
to
scoring
agree.
field position already.
Okay.
Really bad play by the
So we got a double date in May. We're going to a river. I don't know.
You need to tell me, like,
I don't know, but it's me, you, Tavari, and Tamale.
Okay, but
Tavari and Tamale.
I was
Oh,
supposed to know, but I think Natalie's last day is next week. She's
what?
going to the army, I think. I
Okay,
think. I think.
okay.
Chevy told me, but she's almost for the same as them. But yeah.
Hell yeah, get the hell out of Pearsall.
And here comes the offense on second down. Gonna run it. It's Jackson. They get him on the ground, but not before he gets enough for the first down.
It's hard to stop great runners. It really is. That's why you...
Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. He's looking to throw. Catch in the middle. It's Jackson.
Listen, running backs are not just running backs anymore. You're going to be a wide receiver in today's football. A great job sneaking out of the backfield.
They are shaking the rafters of this place, trying to help their defense as they've got them pinned deep. They bring it. Lose a yard on that one.
They're trying to run the football. There's just nowhere to go for the ball carrier in.
Not much feels better to
What?
an offense than to get some breathing room with an explosive play like that. Now 1st and 10
I
from the
know
39.
that. Yeah, I did.
Makes his man miss. They can rely on this guy to pick up solid yardage when they need it, and he's
Yeah.
to the 43.
Okay, okay. All right. No, she barking at me because I slack her. You want the hot dog? I'll be busy. Nah, I know what she doing. SODA. Come here. Come here. Here. She like, leave it right there. So how was work, me? You see my vape in there? I got it. So we asked him all the questions. He said, alright, so what if we met like, say 10 years from now? He said, what if we met when they was, old, like dip, you know, vegetable juice drinkers. Yeah. And cooking what kind of came out. I told you when you asked me if I get my recipes from her. And I said
I would be like, well, I mean,
Did kind of give a answer, but we had to pry it out of her. But basically, we could have just lied about that.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you could have just been like, I saw somebody make it. Like,
But
I saw the recipe and I just tried it. You know, whatever.
you want to cook
But
cooking with sushi?
what was I gonna say? Oh,
Where?
can you find that amigos?
Why? Oh.
Where's Bill? Yeah, I told you. I was like, I don't know why she says that for me to go to Quick Trip when, well, see, Floresville's that way. So if we go to Amigos, she comes out. All we have to do is go that way. But yeah.
Ugh. Where do you get apple juice from?
I was craving apple juice.
Don't be craving
So
stuff.
Michelle went to go buy me apple juice because I bought her orange juice and I wanted apple juice.
You're on your period. Don't be craving stuff. She gonna help you out, Miranda?
I'm coming, baby. It's time for her to eat, that's why. Oh, I thought she was.
Can I give this to Mama? It was on the table the whole time?
I guess so. But I don't know how it was on the table when the last time I had it was on the bed.
I found the remote earlier. Let me see if it's still gonna start.
Yep, that was Coyote Ugly.
Hi, I'm Keanu Reeves. I'm here at the Sonic 3 premiere.
Hey guys, hi to the fans on Snap.
I'm really honored and grateful to be a part of this. I hope you like my shadow. Action looks good. I put my 2 cents in for sure. Get tickets now. Hi, I'm Keanu Reeves.
Who was it on? Hulu?
And police told me, says, no, he's gone.
No, don't tell me I forgot a day. not breathing.
There was a knock that was ungodly on my front door. And I said, is he being shot?
Christopher Bigcock was lured by friends of his. They were just kids. Taylor is just somebody who thought he was a badass.
Tell me what happened.
He never, ever showed remorse.
If we can't be redeemed, then there is no point in a criminal justice.
They don't ever need to walk out in daylight and get on the street and do to another family what they done to mine.
It's actual money.
If the fundraisers they go again, that is a chance to society. Just
Yeah.
This crime. It's not who I am.
I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to get out. I know what's going on.
You know TikTok's not gonna work for a couple days, right?
What do you mean?
TikTok, man.
When is it gonna be banned?
Alexa, when is the TikTok ban?
I come home from work, and
I don't know that one.
Mama was cooking, and there was 2 or 3 phone calls to my son,
Just in
Chris,
Texas or everywhere?
and I could hear a voice coming out of the phone like it was saying, "Come on, Chris, come on," you know. We got to the door. He said, Dad. I turned and looked at him. He said, turned his head like that at me. He says, "I love you." And I said, "I love you too, son, more than anything." And he left.
911, do you need police, fire, or ambulance?
Probably everybody. We got a car that went out of control.
Is there anyone that's pinned or trapped?
They said that the thing is OD. Yes, it's OD on something, drugs or something.
Does everyone appear to be completely awake?
He's drifting in and out.
It was a 17-year-old white male, unresponsive in the driver's seat. The EMS personnel, emergency medical services, the ambulance, they had just assumed that it was an overdose.
They're advising possible overdose.
Yeah, because there were drugs found in his car.
They just told on saying he's possibly not breathing.
But they saw that he had blood and obvious injuries that were consistent with gunshot wounds. The path of the bullet went through his rib cage, his right lung, his diaphragm, the liver, esophagus, and heart. Almost what I would call a lucky shot, simply because it did go through so many organs in the chest and abdomen, caused so much damage.
Cops, they didn't have no idea who did this. And I said, Tyree Washington. All you had to do is look on the telephone his last call. The police, they had the phone. And I said, dial it. It was either the police get him or we were going to get him.
You heard of Triller?
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. Those were people that do the versus battles.
Because it says, who is TikTok's biggest competitor? And it says, let's have a look. And it says, Triller, YouTube
just told OZ he's possibly not breathing.
There was a knock that was ungodly on my front door. And I said, has he been shot?
Christopher Pidcock was lured by friends of his.
They were just kids.
Chambers is just somebody who thought he was badass.
Tell me what happened.
He died.
He never, ever showed remorse.
If we can't be redeemed, then there is no point in a criminal justice system at all.
Murderers that get out of prison will
Maybe
do
next
it
time we go to
again.
HEB, I want to get some of those cinnamon thingies. This thingies.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Those little crispy joints. That got cinnamon sugar on them.
Oh, buñuelos.
Yeah, I want to get some what? What?
Buñuelos. Buñuelos.
Buñuelos. I want to get some buñuelos.
There you go. Yeah.
They don't ever need to walk out in daylight and get on the street and do to another family what they've done to mine.
I know you were eating some for the fact that these were over there.
They kill again.
And I was wondering what they were doing over there.
Just has to take.
Because the last time I put them over here,
It's not who I am.
and they ended up over there.
I want to go home. I want to go home.
I was eating some, yes. But you keep not
Talking
paying
over there.
attention.
Okay.
Open up the snacks.
I need my cup for my seeds.
He never, ever showed remorse.
If we can't be redeemed, then there is no point in a criminal justice
So
system
you're
at
gonna have
all.
to get up early.
Murderers that get out of prison
Okay?
will do it
Can't
again.
forget to pick up my mom for her doctor's appointment. I'm not gonna forget. She's really sick. I'm not sure she's gonna have my doctor. Yeah.
So tomorrow is coming like his insurance claim. It's $500K.
They don't ever need to walk out in daylight and get on the street and do to another family
He's
what
planning
they've
on
done to
trying to
mine.
make sure I get a good report.
If upon release they kill again, that is a chance that society just has to
I
take.
said,
It's 500. It's not who I am.
I changed. I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to get out of here. I know I'm going home.
but
I come home from work and mom was cooking. And
I can only use the money for one thing.
there's 2 or 3 phone calls
To
to
buy
my
a
son
Tesla.
Chris. And
Either black,
I could
red,
hear
or gray.
a voice coming out of the phone like it was saying, "Come on, Chris, come on," you know. We got to the door. He said, "Dad,
So
Dad."
I'm thinking gray.
I turned and looked at him. He said, turned his head like that at me. He says, "I love you." And I said, "I love you too, son, more than anything." And he laughed.
911, do you need police, fire, or ambulance?
Probably everybody. We got a car that went out of control.
Is there anyone that's pinned or trapped?
They said that the thing is OD. Yes, he's OD on something, drugs or something.
Does everyone appear to be completely awake?
He's drifting in and out.
It was a 17-year-old white male, unresponsive in the driver's seat. The EMS personnel, emergency medical services, the ambulance, they had just assumed that it was an overdose.
They're advising possible overdose.
Yeah, because there were drugs found in his car.
They just told OZ he's possibly not breathing.
But they saw that he had blood and obvious injuries that were consistent with gunshot wounds. The path of the bullet went through his rib cage, his right lung, his diaphragm, the liver, esophagus, and heart. Almost what I would call a lucky shot, simply because it did go through so many organs in the chest and neck and caused so much damage.
Cops, they didn't have no idea who did this. And I said, Tyree Washington. All you had to do is look on the telephone his last call. The police, they had the phone. And I said, dial it. It was either the police get him or we were going to get him.
You started eating all the cookies.
I brought a handful of cookies to put in my little truck. He kept the seeds over there.
Tyree Washington, he and Pickup were friends.
That's when I dropped the cookies on my leg.
Obtained a big bag of weed and was willing to sell it to Tyree and his friends. I don't think he was a major drug dealer in Okaloosa County. After the shooting, the Fort Walton Beach Police Department found a .357 Magnum in the neighborhood.
It was me, Kyle Wallen, yeah.
I'm at work and I get a phone call from Kyle's girlfriend and she's hysterical. She's calling me, she says Kyle was leaving to walk her to her dance class, and then that's when a SWAT team takes him down. A detective comes out to talk to me and he tells me that it was a drug deal, robbery of some sort, gone bad, and Kyle and these other boys are involved.
Kyle and Tyree were friends. Preston Chavers wasn't as close with the guy, but they were all young students here in Fort Walton Beach. They were going to go ahead and set up a buy for some weed and commit a robbery.
Figuring out who was involved was not that big of a feat. Trying to figure out who pulled the trigger was a little bit more difficult.
I've got the gun. Okay? Done is done. You got it done. Do what you want. I'm not gonna take the shit. Come on, man.
From what I can gather about Chavers, is he was just somebody who thought he was a badass.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I you know, why did he die? That's my point. He died. I know he died. I'm guessing the bullet must hit something. Why did that bullet hit him? They probably came out of the gun. Why did he get shot? This is what I'm telling you, I don't know. I think if you could take the bullet back, you take the bullet back. You dare shot again?
Preston at some point asked for his mom.
What's going on? Preston, what's going on?
Big brother.
Why?
Somebody got shot. Film it all.
Okay. You tell me that you killed somebody? What are you talking about?
Prosecutors say Timothy Chambers shot Christopher Pitcock during a robbery in Fort Walton Beach. Officers read Chambers' Miranda rights.
Tyree Washington called Pitcock to set up the deal. Then Walling went into the house and got the gun that he'd stolen from his own grandfather. He handed that gun to Chambers, and Christopher Pitcock was lured to a place where they could rob him.
A scuffle broke out. Somebody tried to reach in and grab the dope. Pitcock fought back.
Timothy Chambers, he just started firing the weapon. One shot hit Christopher, and it was a fatal shot.
We walk into the emergency room, and there's 8 or 10 cops. And I said, "Is my son dead?" And I said, "Yeah." And I probably jumped that high in the air and let out a scream. I did. I just stood up and I said, "I don't see him." I wanted that. I needed that more than anything. I needed to tell him, "Dad, love you, love you." And police told me, says, "No, he's gone."
Preston was found to be the person who pulled the trigger. Walling and Washington were charged with principles to murder connected with felony murder.
The law reads, if someone dies in the commission of some other felony that you're committing, then you can be accountable for that murder.
So Walling, Washington, and Chambers, they all were charged with murder.
The sentence was mandatory. It's life without the possibility of parole.
A few years ago, the U.S. Supreme Court determined that juveniles cannot be sentenced to a mandatory life in prison.
Yeah, all that shit started with Centoria Brown.
We now have to have this new sentencing hearing.
These boys were sentenced, so that was a closure for anybody. But now you just opened it all back up. It's torture.
They were murderers, every one of them. Murderers that get out of prison will do it again.
Technically, only one of them is murder.
Yeah.
Preston deserves a chance to be redeemed.
It wasn't a murder. It was robbery gone wrong. He didn't die because my brother is some evil person that wanted to brutally murder somebody.
Yeah, that is true.
Preston Schaefers, you killed my boy. What are you going to say to
That
me?
is also true.
Yeah.
He had the gun. He fired the shot.
So yeah, this is just kind of a conversation more than anything. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
I'm a little nervous. I've been recording before.
What's prison like?
It's restricting. It's sad. You feel like there's a black cloud over you. You feel like there's a presence of evil, death, heartbreak. it's not true. I'm not a bad person. A 17-year-old kid is so far away. It's
8 years later.
it's like another world. I definitely feel like I deserve a second chance in life as a free person.
Okay.
When I was assigned the case, I went down and met Preston, and what I thought was, here's a young man who needs help. Because when he pulled that trigger, he took his own life as well as Mr. Pitcock's. At 17, he was an irrational young man who did something stupid, but I don't think it's fair to say anybody is forever broken. At the sentencing hearing, will be able to show that he has become better. Because if we can't...
Why are you putting him in a bowl?
Then there is no point in a criminal justice system at all.
That's me. And
No, not dump easy.
I'm sure up against Chris. This baby kid.
I want to see how many C's are left on there.
I wanted to be a dad at a real early age. I adored my dad. You know, he was a hero to me growing up. So when Chris come along, I knew that I was the daddy. Chris was my son. I used to stand over his crib and he'd be laying there, you know, sleep. I would tell him how much. So, I would just tell him how much that he meant to me, that I would never leave him. And, you know, things that a daddy, when you first become a daddy, I don't care. You just have this feeling. Chris was special.
Crispin had a little goal in life and what he wanted to do. If you can see his little poster here. Now, I graduate this year. I plan to take over my dad's business and get rich.
That's your only son.
I wish he was here. Oh God, I wish he was here.
You see him and his dad right there.
He was my wife. It was a day that I wasn't proud of him. Proud of him.
Globetrotters.
I don't think that America realizes what they're doing by passing a law to let these killers out. Timothy Schaefer, you're a cold-blooded murderer. Tyree Washington, you're a murderer. The one that brought the gun, Kyle Wallen, you're a murderer.
You only got one of those correct.
I never have said that Kyle's an innocent person, but a murderer he's not.
That's correct.
I don't think any of them all really knew Preston. Preston had just moved here. As far as I know, Preston had not lived here but a month.
If Shavers never came on the scene, I don't think anything would happen. I mean, looking at Washington in court, he looked just lost. And Walling, was he capable of murder?
Even when Preston gets the gun, Kyle told him, don't take it loaded. You know, take the bullets out.
Shavers, I think he wanted to shoot that gun at that age, how cold. And to this day, he hasn't shown remorse.
What happened that night was a tragedy. But this kid grew up in a situation right out of a horror movie. It was an atrocity. That made him who he was.
So
The Supreme Court wants to look in how the development of the person who committed the crime affected that crime with Preston. My strategy is going to be to show that Preston has suffered trauma, that trauma affected his ability to control his impulses, and that should be a determination in what the court sentences him to. His father died when he was 3 years old in a tornado that came through Alabama. From that point on, he didn't have anything stable.
I didn't have a normal childhood. We were poor. My mother was on drugs, stress, broke her down. She dealt with chronic migraines. And it went to pills. And then from pills, it went to heroin. Sometimes my mother, she'd get very angry. There's a lot of weapons. She had a leather belt with metal rings in it that she used to beat me with. We didn't have much food, so when all was left was a can of tomato soup. I didn't like tomato soup. It used to make me puke. I puked in the bowl. And she made me eat my own puke. The only time I was happy when I was out of school was I was a class clown. I liked to be around other kids.
He's being placed in these institutions for violence, so he had to fight. He's learning social skills in a detention facility, and he's all of a sudden now 11, 12 years old. And at one point, Preston ended up going to the Dozier school.
The Dozier Reform School for Boys closed in 2011, but its painful legacy still haunts this place. Teachers and administrators dealt ruthless beatings, sexual abuse, and even murder.
There's all kinds of horror stories that came out of it. It was an atrocity.
At one point, Preston told me there was a hook on the floor, and they would take your handcuffs and they would chain you to the floor, and you would sit there all day long. The discipline techniques that were used there were so intense that kids actually died.
That's a very violent place. And growing up in an environment like that, you get almost hardwired a certain way. So, when I get home at 15, I don't know how to handle situations like other kids know how to handle situations. I wasn't an all-around bad kid. I was still friendly. I was still very social. I was still very kind. Like if somebody came at me, I'd get violent.
From the time he was a small child, I was given stories from family
innocent person. So many things that are unspoken that we can talk about. A lot of things that need to be said. I never had someone when I saw yeah, forgive her. So,
I love my brother. I don't care what he did or didn't do. Nothing's gonna change my view about him. He taught me how to play baseball, football, basketball. That was my protector. That was my bodyguard. This is where we come to talk, chill. We talk about things we were gonna do. Probably the most peaceful spot in Florida is right here.
If he got out, either one of us,
Come to my house.
he could have anything he wanted. Being there so long.
I don't think that just because he made a mistake that you should just throw him out like he's nothing. It's not fair to him.
This is a kid who spent his their system, but it's like the state of Florida abdicated its responsibility in making Preston who he was by sentencing him to life in prison.
I'm a completely different person. I understand what I'm in prison for, and I understand, you know what I'm saying, the severity of it. But a person can't just give me life and expect me to lay down. And we continue to fight. It's gonna be hard times, but life is still beautiful. It's still worth living. It's still worth fighting for.
Thank you, sir. Last time we spoke, you said you'd been to court 9 times, or not last time we spoke.
Yeah, I've been to court now about 75 times.
My question is,
on this case here.
During the first trial, I got to know the Pitcock family.
Why this nigga so
and saw how Dave in particular was struggling with this.
Timothy Preston Shavers could get anywhere from get out today to life in prison with no parole.
Huh?
That is the way they made this law.
It's awful hard to see you guys have to go through this time after time.
It's torture for me. And I see no way out of it because the courts have not let me see a way out of it. I can't pull my son out of the grave, and it's did a lot of things to me. When you cry every day for 9 years, man, it just takes a toll on me. Myself, I took this in a bad way, and I've gotten sick through this. Before I leave this world, and I'm not saying anything, we all have to go, but before I leave, I would love to make sure that they're men. They are men. I would like to see them have to stay at the same sentence they have. You know, it's putting you in prison for the rest of your days and letting you feel the pain of what you caused. It's about keeping their ass there. I promised my son that Daddy will avenge you. I'll fight till the day I die to keep them where they're at.
what you gonna do if they let him out?
I don't hold it against people who not want to give forgiveness. But I feel remorse. I think about him. Think about his family. Think about everybody involved and all the lives that were shattered. It's never out of my mind. But I can't change anything that's happened in the steps to better myself while I'm here. I started reading about Islam. It just spoke to me personally. We're supposed to promote peace, find tranquility within ourselves, our daily lives. I have to teach myself, I have to grow. I can't live in the same debased mindset.
He's calmed down since when he first went in. So he stays out of trouble. He doesn't get into fights, arguments. So I don't think he has no reason not to come home.
He doesn't see himself as being there for life. He told me he wants to open a coffee shop. I'd throw money down immediately, take him anywhere. He needs something to look forward to, because he's lost everything he's had. I'm so nervous. But I know there's hope. I definitely don't expect him to get life again. If anything, I think he should get on really soon.
Another day going to court. Hair raises on the back of my neck every time I go to get around.
We like to have good, we like to have evil. We like to have justice, we like to have injustice. But these cases don't fall on that continuum. I want the judge to see that he is worth a second chance. To tell that story, human beings can get better.
He's missed nothing in his life.
All right, circuit court is now in session. Honorable Judge William F. Stone presiding. Please be seated. Mr. Early, you ready to proceed?
I am, Your Honor.
You've been in there, what, 9 years?
Yeah.
Your Honor, defense will call Lee Ruth Bitzer. Miss Bitzer, how are you related to Mr. Chambers?
I am his grandmother.
Would you tell the court what happened to your son?
Well, my son, Preston's dad, was killed in a tornado.
How old was Preston at the time?
Preston
What she
was 3.
said? What?
After your son
No,
passed,
nigga, no.
Preston moved away.
She said a tornado.
Yes.
Would you see
A
Preston
tornado.
from time to time when he come visit?
She said a
Only
tornado.
mainly.
I heard.
Miss Bitzer, how are you related to Mr. Chambers?
I am his grandmother.
Would you tell the court what happened to your son?
Well, my son, Preston's dad, was killed in a tornado.
How old was Preston at the time?
I heard tornado.
Preston was 3.
She said tornado.
After your son.
She got an R at the end of that, bro.
No.
Listen.
Preston's dad was killed in a tornado.
How old was Preston at the time?
Preston was 3.
After your son passed, Preston moved away with his mom, correct?
Yes.
Would you see Preston from time to time when he come visit?
Only mainly during Christmas.
Now, on one of these visits to your home, did Preston confide to you that he'd been sexually abused?
Yes, Preston one day was sitting on the couch. He was about 7 or 8 years old, I guess. And he just broke down and started crying. I said, Preston, what's wrong? He said, well, Nanny, he said, Mama took me to a babysitter, and he said, and I was molested. I said, Preston, did you tell your mother about it? He said, yes, ma'am. And I faced her with it. I said, did Preston tell you that he had been raped by a 14-year-old boy? She said, no, he never and pray for that young man.
I have no further questions. Dr. Castillo, what is your area of expertise in psychology?
Psychological trauma.
Do you have any chance to examine Mr. Chambers?
Yes, I did.
And what can you tell the court about his early childhood?
There was a lot of abuse going on at home, and the punishment, the abuse, the maltreatment, all of that is producing toxins in the brain that are going to impact his behavior.
You've also come to realize who he's become.
He tells me that now he thinks differently about things. He thinks of the consequences. He's very self-reflective to a degree that is hard to see in a lot of adults. When you look at Preston, his trauma is very significant. But despite that, the rehabilitation process can be seen in him. It would be a mistake to look at somebody's behavior and say, because they did this, there will always be a risk to society.
I have no further questions, thank you.
Mr. Dre.
First, this is Mr. Pitcock. This is the young man whose life Mr. Chambers took. Judge, to summarize the effect this had on the victim's family. Losing their son. Mr. Pitcock had extreme health problems since this event. He now suffers from depression and PTSD from the shooting. He has had 2 heart attacks. This 17-year-old young man made a choice. He's the one who wanted to take the gun to the robbery and did. And he's the one who shot and killed the victim. Who Timothy Preston Chambers was in 2010, who he is today, is the same person. We have the defendant's discipline history in the Department of Corrections. In November of 2011, he was being escorted from a holding cell. He attempted to pull away in an aggressive manner, and he loudly yelled, "Allah is going to get y'all. Y'all are evil, you effing crap." On August 10th, 2015, possession of contraband ×2, this cell was searched, and they discovered 2 toothbrush handles that had been sharpened to a very sharp point. On April 17th of 2016, he called the correction staff a very derogatory name. Mr. Chambers yelled, "I'm going to kill your kids and family. I will even kill you if I see you out on the streets."
Oh, yeah, nope.
Mr. Chambers then punched correction staff in the face. He's showing you who he is. It's still batteries, it's still mouthing off, it's still not doing what he's supposed to do, even though he's in the most structured environment that we have. Why in the world would we let him out in society where he doesn't have that right?
Serious event. I realize that it may cause some emotion, but I ask please that you restrain yourself under these circumstances. The court has considered the testimony from the trial and the hearing today. The jury in this case found the defendant did discharge a firearm causing death. The defendant voluntarily and with enthusiasm participated in the planning of the robbery over a period of hours before the robbery was executed, which led to the death of Christopher Pitcock. During the planning of the robbery, steps were taken to be certain the defendant did not by accident shoot the victim by removing shells from the chamber of the revolver. The defendant thus had to pull the trigger 4 times to fire the shots which killed the victim. The conduct of the defendant before, during, and after the robbery and death demonstrates a level of maturity and rational, though criminal, thought process. The victim was well liked by the community. He was very close to his family. The victim's death deeply affected his fellow peers, who struggle to this day to deal with the same Christopher. Therefore, the court does not adjudicate guilty of Preston Chambers guilty of the first-degree murder of Christopher Pitcock by carrying a firearm on discharge of a firearm clause of felony. The court sentences him to Preston Chambers to life for the murder of Christopher Pitcock. This is the sentence for George Pitcock. You're adjourned.
Baby, I would never kill you.
So tell me how you're feeling now that this more or less final decision is going to be made on the judges.
I'm very happy with Judge Stone's verdict. I want to go jump in the water.
It's like a little bit of
Yeah, a little bit of weight took off. And that's the best feeling I've had since we went through all this.
It's not fair. Like worse crimes.
I was hoping for maybe 25, 20 years. Just be able to have another chance at life, another chance with my family, and another chance to beat something. So, right on my own, that's what I was expecting. Life again, I wasn't expecting that.
That's how you feel them. They ain't doing no re-sentencing. Yeah. Only he got re-sentencing, but it's still life.
Frisco, Texas is a quiet farming
Man, I got
community.
no
A
sleep.
small herd of cattle is a
Nice
common
one, brother.
sight.
This one's in
Pine
Texas.
is not.
Frisco, Texas.
Nice little
And that's
town
life.
full of hardworking.
That's where Ashton Gentis came from.
That's pretty
And
unusual.
that's where my little cousin Jay
murder
Beasley
someone's parents.
from.
Friday night, Rosalind and Vernon Caldwell were home in bed. They were discovered by their youngest daughter, both parents shot in their bed.
It's significantly outside the realm of normal. He put bullets in drone people sleeping in their bed at night.
damage in that bed when I got back there.